big dog out. Hoo, 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 hoo. That's right.
I knew you were going there. Totally.
Big dog. Big dog.
The big dog.
The man, the myth, the legend himself. Matt Hamilton from Turner and Hooch. This guy is fucking hysterical.
Oh my gosh, he shares some absolutely epic stories, not just from Turner and Hooch, but he's got a fantastic story about Supernatural. He's got a fantastic story about Arrow. I mean, and then he shares some inside scoop on Turner and Hooch.
Yes.
I mean, even an exclusive.
Exactly, man. Everybody is going to absolutely love this one, especially like people who get into it for the wrong reasons and then realize, oh shit, this is hard, okay? It's not a normal thing.
That's right.
So, I mean, you got to stay with it and just keep pursuing your passion, man. But then also realize when enough is enough.
That's right.
So that's everything we deep dive into. But that conversation is later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, it is episode 173 this week.
Yes.
Wild shit.
Wild stuff. Wild. Now all of a sudden it's like Ed McMahon. Wait, that's wild. Yes,
wild.
But 2 away from 175.
I can't believe it.
I mean, that's just. I mean, 200 will be here before we even know it.
Yeah.
Like just crazy.
Wow, it's insane. It feels like we started like yesterday.
It does. It does.
But our personalities keep growing. We keep giving you the great content, and of course, if it's going down in Hollywood, we are talking about it. And you guys know your host with the most, myself, JLo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
Guys, it is a jammed-packed one. Woo! I shall say there's so much superhero news. It's not just Marvel. There's also a lot of DC as well.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, you guys know we love that shit, so we're going to be deep diving into all of it. But some big stars, leaving some big shows. Of course, we got the box office recap, top trending content out there for everyone to see, and so much more, guys. But before we get that started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear, shirts, hats, t-shirts, tank tops, everything that you need. And we got our new Love Yourself designs out right now, so be sure to check those out. All right, we got to tone it down a little bit because we have lost a real one, I will say. He was absolutely legend. He's the definition of legendary. He came on a show back in like the early years, I will say, probably episode like 35.
I think so,
or something like that. The one and only Mr. Ed Asner. Legendary actor, activist, and philanthropist, passed away peacefully this past Sunday. He was 91, so he lived a phenomenal full life. We're thankful for that. Asner, former president of the Screen Actors Guild, is best known as his role as Lou Grant on both his hit show by itself and then also the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yep.
Pulling off the rare feat of playing the same character in both comedy and a drama series, he is the most awarded male performer in Emmy history with 7 wins, 5 of them playing Lou Grant himself. Asner served as president of SAG from 1981 to 85 after he emerged as the leader during the 1980 SAG strike. Mm-hmm. So very influential to the whole entertainment industry. And when this happened Sunday, our feeds just blew up with everybody acknowledging and just posting old pictures that they had with him, and it's a huge loss.
Yeah, it really is, and like you said, what he was able to accomplish, playing Lou Grant on both, the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was a comedy, obviously, and then Lou Grant, which was a drama, and like you said, he won Emmys for that, right? But he's the only person to ever win an Emmy for the same character in 2 different genres, comedy and drama, which is just unheard of. I mean, to be able to pull that off. But and his activism wasn't done. I mean, all the way up to his passing, he was still fighting that the SAG health care pension plan stuff. And after his passing, the judge ruled that it would not be thrown out. They would be allowed to continue his lawsuit. So I would not be surprised at all if that comes out on the successful side. We see it named after him. It would make sense to me. I don't know. It's a big loss for the industry for sure.
It is. I'm happy he passed away peacefully with his family too, because I mean they meant so much to him.
Whew, but now Now,
let's get into
it. Well, like we said at the top of the show, we're jumping to the Mouse House. And, of course, when you talk to Mouse House, you got to talk Marvel because that's the big thing, right? So, as we said, Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings open this week on approximately 4,300 North American theater screens this holiday weekend. And get this, it earned $29.6 million yesterday, which is well above what they thought it was going to be. 8.8 on Thursday added into that, so 29.6 total yesterday. And according to early estimates, now this is the very latest, guys, it's going to soar to the top of the domestic box office with an estimated 4-day debut, because it's Labor Day weekend, of $75 to $85 million.
Damn.
That would put Shang-Chi slightly behind the debut of Black Widow, which you guys know opened at $80 million over 3 days and $60 million on Disney+. Now, at the international box office, it's also premiering in most overseas territories, but get this, not China. Disney and China still having that little back and forth battle because of fucking Chapek. And this is a fucking Chinese movie, god damn it. But it's not going to open in China. It does look, however, to collect another $40 million in the overseas territories that it's opening up at. Which means, if the estimates hold at the domestic box office, Shang-Chi is going to smash the previous Labor Day opening weekend record, which, by the way, was not during a pandemic. That was 2007's Halloween at $30.6 million. So, I mean, it's just going to obliterate that. And come in well over $100 million global opening, which is huge, right? Now, here's the thing. How long will it stay number one? How long will it dominate? Because it's only going to be in theaters 45 days.
Yeah.
That's part of that whole theatrical thing, right? Shang-Chi's going to play in theaters for 45 days and then move to Disney+. Now, with it winning the weekend, and we all know it's going to win the weekend, the impressive streak that Kevin Feige and the MCU has built continues. This will be the 25th movie in a row to open at number one. 25th. They've released 25 movies. All 25 opened at number one at the box. That's unheard of, guys. I don't even think it will ever be matched.
I don't think so either.
There's not a single franchise that will catch this or do what this franchise has done. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, the work ethic that Kevin Feige and the team has done throughout, like, this past 10, 15, almost 15 years now is absolutely insane. I mean, pumping out 1 or 2 movies every single year.
That's right.
So, I mean, Marvel has just been kicking ass. So,
and I just want to throw in one little thing because of my, really disgruntled opinion of Bob Chapek. I saw today that the Russo brothers are now second-guessing whether they want to sign a new contract with Marvel and come back to direct any more movies.
Damn.
Because of the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit and the way it's been handled.
That's rough.
Guys, that's fucking Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame.
Those are, like, the best ones.
The biggest movie of all time. Now they're not thinking about coming back. And they've been saying for years that they want to keep making them, but now they're rethinking it. They're not sure they want to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Chapek.
I'm just saying.
Fix that shit, man. Because it ain't Feige.
It's not.
It's not Feige. It's your bullshit with Scarlett Johansson. So get that shit fixed.
Exactly.
Anyway.
This next one comes by no surprise because this was huge at the box office and on Disney Plus, and gone over super well with all walks of life out there, especially good classic family content. And I'm talking about Jungle Cruise, grossed over $100 million at the domestic box office the past weekend. Disney has greenlit a sequel. Stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt are set to return in a wisecracking Kipper Frank Wolf and interpreted researcher Dr. Lily Houghton, respectively, for the brand and new adventure with Michael Green, who co-wrote the hit.
There you go.
Back at the keyboard. Expected to also come back are directors Joaim Colette Sierra and the film's producing team, John Davis, John Fox, Biofin, and Johnson. Danny Garcia and Hiram Garcia. Scott Sheldon also returns as executive producer. So, basically, everybody's coming back for the sequel, which makes sense, and I'm going to be curious to see how fast they get this thing into pre-production, because, The Rock is super busy on a whole bunch of other shit. Emily Blunt may have some big shit coming our way. So, I'm guessing within the next 5 years we'll see this thing.
Wow, that long, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean,
they're busy people. The Rock especially is a busy
doubt,
person.
no
so.
doubt. But boy, they greenlit it quick enough.
They did.
Okay. Hey, this is cool news too. David and Jessica Oyelowo are set to produce Walt Disney's reboot of the 1991 action adventure movie The Rocketeer. Yes, it's going to be called Rocketeer. The sequel, The Return of the Rocketeer. Oh, okay. So it's going to be produced by the Oyelowo's Yabura Saxon Productions banner, with David possibly taking on a starring role. This was with Jennifer Connelly and Billy Campbell back in the day in '91, and I really enjoyed the storyline. I thought that was a really good movie, so I'm excited to kind of see a reboot. I know you're thinking, what? They hate fucking reboots, but I liked this storyline, and I'm excited to see what they kind of do with it, and it would be changing it up if David takes the starring role. So, okay.
Yeah,
let's see. Let's see where that goes.
Let's see, man. Let's see. We still don't need Home Alone, though.
No, we don't.
We don't need that. Jodie Comer is beginning to shooting Ridley Scott's latest project, Kit Bag. Jodie will play Josephine opposite of Joaquin Phoenix's Napoleon in the historical drama as the military leader and emperor. Very excited about this one because Joaquin, I feel like, super method, and he's going to get so deep into this role, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and it's good to finally know who was going to play her, because when we first announced this, talking about Joaquin, that we had no idea. We said that the whole plot line about the movie was the love affair between him and Josephine, but we had no idea who was going to be. Now we know. Yeah, so that's going to be really good.
Hell yeah.
Judith Light, all my Who's the Boss fans out there and Transparent fans out there who love Judith Light, she's apparently joined the packed cast of Searchlight Pictures' dark comedy The Menu. The two-time Tony winner will star alongside previously announced Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes in the film, as well as Hong Chow, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, and Janet McTeer. Now, we told you about this before. The film follows a young couple who travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu and some shocking surprises.
Oh, shit.
I'm guessing some of the guests are on the menu.
Yeah.
That's going to be my guess, right?
They come out and they, have the platter with the fucking cover over it, and they, remove it. I'm ahead.
I am pretty sure that this was a short film that got made into... I remember this premise, and if I could be totally wrong, and please send your comments if I'm wrong, but Daisy Ridley, I think did a short film with this very premise. And so it could be the same people that have brought it to light as a feature film. I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's very interesting. So
yeah, I'm excited. But I'm more excited about this next one because I'm honestly a huge fan of this character. And Kate Walsh is returning to Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Addison Montgomery for the multi-episode arc in its upcoming 18th season. Representatives from ABC confirmed Walsh's return, but not give any specifics on Addison's storyline. This is for sure the last season. If it's not, what the hell? You're bringing back all the originals. Come on. So please, let's get an announcement after, maybe right before the season starts or, right after the season starts. Hey, this is the last one. We'd be fine with it. We're all okay with it.
That's true.
I also want Kate Walsh to come on the show. I mean, I think she would be an amazing 150th guest. I mean, yours is Ming Na. We can try to get Kate Walsh, too.
Yeah.
What if we could get both of them at the same time?
Oh, my gosh. It would be epic. It would be epic. I mean, let's do it. Come on, guys. Do it.
Do it.
Speaking of epic, Josh Peck, who we hear some epic tales about with our guest later on today. It's going to be fantastic. Turner and Hooch star Josh Peck is joining Ashley Reyes from American Gods and David Makes Man's Daniel Augustin in recurring roles on How I Met Your Father, Hulu's straight-to-series spinoff of How I Met Your Mother that we've been talking about the last few weeks. So he's going to be a really busy guy because we're pretty positive Turner and Hooch is going to get a season 2.
Hell yeah.
So that's exciting news. I mean, I love him, and I think he's great. So to see him pop, and apparently he's playing the principal at the school for the kids.
Yeah.
So that's going to be hilarious.
That's awesome. I'm super excited too because Josh Peck is a great actor. So I'm happy to see him get more work in front of the camera and more exposure on these big shows because he deserves it. He really does.
He does.
This next one I'm also super excited about. I'm just striking, I'm getting home runs with these stories, guys, because I love this show. Reservation Dogs has been renewed for season 2 at FX on Hulu. The critically acclaimed comedy series is still airing its first season right now, with a 6th episode set to debut on September 6th, and season 1 finale will drop September 20th, and season 2 will premiere in 2022. Great freaking story. I mean, basically, kids of a Native American reservation, and it deals with everything in today's society, basically, but also in like their village. So I think it's hilarious. You have the Native Americans who are like meth heads. You have the Native Americans who are like a little bit of outcasts, and it's great. It's hilarious, and it teaches us more about the culture. So definitely need more content like this. Entertainment, man, that's what we keep saying. Entertainment is the best form of education.
It absolutely is. Okay, hey, we just talked about Grey's Anatomy. Well, former Grey's Anatomy guy, Jesse Williams, has joined the cast of Hulu's drama pilot Olga Dies Dreaming. Williams joins the previously announced series leads Aubrey Plaza and Ramon Rodriguez in the pilot. Now, as we've told you, the show tells the story of a Moroccan brother and sister from a gentrifying Sunset Park, Brooklyn, reckoning with the absent politically radical mother and their glittering careers among New York City's elite in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Apparently, Williams is going to play Mateo, who's described as a collector of music, objects, of trivia, and mainly of opinions. So I guess he's going to be the voice of reason in the show.
I'm very excited about this because he's very diverse, but I mean, we've only seen him as one character for so many years. So I'm really excited to see him step more into different roles that aren't, freaking what he was on Grey's Anatomy.
It's true.
So it's exciting stuff. This next one, I'm curious to hear your intake on it. We're heading over to Fox. Emily VanCamp is leaving Fox's medical drama The Resident after starring on the show as a nurse, Nicolette Niven, for 4 seasons. Was she an integral character?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
A main character.
Damn.
This is a shocking exit. And
any word why?
Well, Deadline Hollywood wrote why, and they had a pretty extensive article, and show creator and executive producer Amy Holden Jones basically said the article was full of shit.
Oh, shit.
Not factual, and an awful job of journalism. So for our purposes, because we don't do that, we're just going to leave it with Emily is leaving the show.
She's gone.
We don't know why. We don't know if there's been any attempt to get her back on the show. And so I do know she just had a baby in real life. The storyline on the show, of course, is she just gave birth to her and Conrad's baby. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if it has something to do with maybe she's got a major move coming with Marvel with Captain America. We know she's the power broker. So I don't know. Is it a scheduling thing? Is it a decision just I'm working too much? I just had a new baby. I got to take some time off, or was there some stuff going on? Have no idea, and we're not going to speculate.
Yeah.
So, but yes, a very major character. So I don't know what Conrad's going to do without Nick.
Very interesting.
I'm sad.
It's sad. It is sad.
It's Co-Nick. And now it'll just be Co.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. All right. This next one, we're jumping to the bunny. And like we said, we've got so much superhero news. Now, if you're like me and a comic book geek, you were sitting on the couch, glued to the set last year at this time when it happened, and you saw I Am Vengeance and so much other awesome shit, right? Well, of course, I'm talking about DC FanDome. And guess what, guys? DC FanDome is coming back this year. The virtual event centered to comic book enthusiasts like ourselves is returning this fall. DC FanDome will take place on October 16th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, so mark that, guys, and will be available to watch on its official website and Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, just like it was last time. The free event gathers stars and creators of DC properties across feature films, TV series, games, and comics, and offers attendees access to breaking news, exclusive trailers, never-before-seen footage, and upcoming projects. Now, this year's gathering will showcase footage from a swath. That's right, I said swath. It's still used. It's fine. It's great. Of different things coming up, right? Including the new trailer for The Batman. A new trailer for the Batman. That was like one of my most favorite things from the last one was the trailer for Batman, but that's going to be awesome. Of course, starring Robert Pattinson as the Cape Crusader. There's going to be clips from DC's League of Super Pets with Dwayne Johnson. behind-the-scenes looks at Jason Momoa in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and Zachary Levi's Shazam! Fury of the Gods, as well as the first look at Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. That's going to be fucking epic. So he's going to be all over the place with that. And the often delayed, yet coming very soon now, The Flash with Ezra Miller and Michael Keaton. And Ben Affleck. That's right. It's filled with all kinds of people. That's going to be awesome. An exclusive look at Peacemaker, which is the spin-off from the Suicide Squad, obviously, which is going to be great. Preview of the new seasons for Batwoman, The Flash, Superman and Lois, and Sweet Tooth, plus a farewell tribute to Supergirl, as you guys know, as we've been reporting. This is its final season, so it's going off. Also, we're going to get a first look at the new drama Naomi and the upcoming episode of DC's Stargirl. Warner Brothers Animation will also feature Aquaman King of Atlantis, Harley Quinn, and a new Batman show, Batman Caped Crusader.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically everything.
Everything.
Just like the last time.
Happening.
It's going to be epic. I mean, it was like 12 hours of just like epicness last time, and I'm going to be there again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to be there again.
For sure. And I'm happy to see all of these things come out, even though, like, the last year, Black Adam, I mean, we got that little, like, concept little, like, trailer. I don't even know what to describe that as. But Batman, I mean, we all know the unfortunate events that are COVID, like, shut it down a few times. So that makes sense why we're just now getting another trailer. But I'm super pumped for that one as well. There's so much good stuff coming out of DC fandom. And by far, like, we've talked about this before when they announced this, it's the end of Comic-Con. I mean, it's it's not gonna be a huge phenomenon anymore. D23 and DC fandom, like, they're gonna have their own things.
I think so too, and like I wouldn't be surprised. We talked about this last year, but Marvel's got to be following suit soon.
Yeah.
Right? They still hold D23, so that's kind of where Marvel does their thing now. But I have to imagine they're going to be doing something like this soon.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Like by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know though, because I think D23 will always still incorporate Marvel. I don't think Disney will ever let them go off and do their own thing. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd like to see it though.
Yeah, it would definitely be really cool.
It would be.
On to the next one. I'm super excited about it, and I know you are as well. The CW's Batwoman, which is fucking awesome, has cast Bridget Regan as the iconic DC supervillain Poison Ivy for the show's third season. Regan will appear as a recurring guest star role. Season 3 of the show is scheduled to debut in October, mid-October, which is October 13th. So I'm super pumped with that. I'm happy that this show is still going forward even after the hiccup that was the Ruby Rose situation. But Javicia is absolutely kicking ass as the character, so I'm excited.
Me too, and this is perfect casting for Poison Ivy. They couldn't have picked a better person to play her. And it opens up so many questions. Are you guys watching Titans? Titans just hinted at the Oracle storyline, right? So are we going to see, that's long been rumored, a spinoff from Titans with Oracle, with Barbara Gordon. Now that they're introducing Poison Ivy, will we see a Birds of Prey? Could we potentially see the first CW HBO Max crossover with Birds of Prey? It sure seems like they're setting it up.
It does.
So, I don't know. We'll find out. Another awesome show that's doing kick-ass on the CW is Walker, obviously. Apparently, Dave Annabelle is joining the upcoming second season of the show in a recurring role. He is set to play Dan Miller. Dan is fiercely loyal to the Davidson family and very protective of his wife. He has taken on the Davidsons' distrust of the Walkers and is clearly not going to settle into Austin without a fight. He's set to first appear in episode 201, so the first episode of the second season. Now, this is interesting because you know who else is on the show? His wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an all big family thing over there. I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. Have you tried it yet?
I have. I started watching it. I am a fan. I'm a little late to the game, but I'm enjoying it. I'm finally catching up on my CW shows. And yeah, I really do like it. And I think the chemistry there between Jared and his wife is fantastic.
Right.
And now, Dave joining Odette on the show is going to give it an interesting dynamic. I just like how they keep it all in the family. As you guys know, Odette was on Supergirl, right? So the CW is loyal to their people, just keep pulling them in. And I think that's why these shows work so well.
Agreed.
So, but you got to displace, because it's totally different. If you were a Walker Texas Ranger
It's
fan,
not the same.
It's not that. You got to displace it. You got to go into it with a clean slate, which is what I did, because I was a fan of the original show. And if you do that, you're going to be okay. If you don't, you
Do you see what I mean when like the son makes specific faces that look exactly like Padalecki? It's scary.
I mean, he clearly studied him.
Yeah.
Clearly studied it. Yeah.
So good, man.
It's pretty good.
Yes, recommended to all.
Yes.
Now, the next CW project that we'll be talking about is Tom Swift, and it's been ordered to series at the CW. The show is a spin-off of Nancy Drew. Tyan Richards made his first appearance as the character in Nancy Drew episode The Castile Visitor during that show's second season. This series will follow a serialized adventures of the title Black Gay Billionaire Inventor who is thrust into the world of sci-fi conspiracy and unexplained phenomena. After a shocking disappearance of his father, the new show will debut during the 2021-2022 broadcast season, but no further premiere date has been set at this time. Just off that little bio, though, I'm pretty interested. I mean, they're trying to just mix things up. And, the CW, they're always putting out good content, especially underrated content. I think the CW is definitely the underdog when it comes to all of this shit.
And I can say they were on board with the inclusivity and the diversity long before anybody else. I credit highly Berlanti for that, for doing what he did early on with the CW. So good for them. Okay, Alex Iono, Mallory Bechtel, and Eric Johnson. Oh, Smallville, Eric Johnson. Okay, all right. They apparently have all joined the cast of HBO Max's Pretty Little Liars, Original Sin, as series regulars. They're going to appear opposite other stars, Chandler Kinney, Maya Rifko, and Bailey Madison. That's interesting. Like I said, I'm still kind of up in the air about this show. I think it might be a little too soon.
Yeah.
But as I've said on previous shows, I'm a fan of Bailey Madison, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to check it out. Seeing Alex Iono for Doogie, they're from Doogie Kamahala MD, however she's going to say that.
Right.
I saw a trailer, and the trailer actually makes reference to Doogie.
That's funny.
That's how she got her nickname Doogie. She was named after the TV show Doogie Howser MD. So it's not. There's a little play on that, which I thought was interesting in the trailer. Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there. That was a quick bounce back to the mouse.
Exactly.
Now we're going back to the buddy. It's fine.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Well, HBO Max has ordered a pilot for a potential Dead Boy Detective series based on the DC comic characters created by Neil Gaiman. And it's going to be an hour-long series that follows the Dead Boy detectives, Charles Rowland and Edwin Payne, who have decided to enter the Afterlife in order to stay on Earth and investigate crimes involving the supernatural. Sebastian Croft and Ty Tennant are set to play Roland and Payne, respectively, in the upcoming third season of Doom Patrol, though they are not believed to be attached to the pilot at this time.
I would have to assume that they will be, though, because Berlanti does Doom Patrol and he is doing this, so I mean, why would you have them in? Although they did recast Chief. I mean, so I don't know.
It sounds very like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds very like DC version Supernatural-esque.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it is. It's based on the same. Neil Gaiman did Sandman, he did Lucifer, so it's very much within that realm.
That makes sense.
And it is kind of supernatural, except these guys are dead.
Yeah.
They just chose not to move on.
That makes sense.
So yeah, you're not wrong with that.
Hopefully they're not one of those ghosts just having sex in the mansion or some shit. Like, I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about, Doom Patrol Season 2.
Oh my gosh, have you seen the trailer for 3?
No.
Season 3?
No.
Oh my god, it's going to be even more freaking crazy. It's going to be insane. I can't wait. Hacks creator Lucia Aniello and Paul W. Downs have signed, apparently, an overall deal with the Warner Brothers Television Group. Under the multi-year deal, as we so often say, the duo and their Palua Productions banner will develop projects across broadcast, cable, and streaming for Warner Brothers Television. This marks the first overall deal for their company. Well, congratulations. It only makes sense when you have a huge hit like Hacks.
Exactly.
You get these type deals.
Exactly.
I mean, makes sense.
Exactly. Well, heading over to Viacom CBS, and this one sucks, especially for Mr.
really
80s over
does.
here. Paramount has delayed Tom Cruise's tentpoles Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible 7. Amid the surge of the Delta variant of COVID-19, Top Gun Maverick will now open in theaters May 27th of 2022 instead of November 19th of 2021.
It was right around the corner.
It was so close.
So close.
While Mission Impossible 7 will debut in September the 30th of 2022 instead of May 27th of 2022. So that one's not that much of a pushback compared to Maverick.
Gun, yeah.
So that really sucks. I know you're kind of butthurt about it.
I'm really, really upset about it. I was really looking forward to seeing it, and now I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer. But to make it a little bit better for all of y'all who might be as upset as I am, I did see a little piece of information. Going to give it to you right now. I don't know if you've seen this yet, so maybe I'm giving it to you too. I know how Iceman is coming in.
Oh, shit.
I know how Val Kilmer is being played. Apparently, Maverick, as he always does, gets himself in trouble and is likely being booted out of the Navy. And John Hamm's character, I guess, is playing the Secretary of the Navy or some sort of huge official. And it is Iceman himself that convinces John Hamm's character to give Maverick a second chance, to not boot him, to let him try to finish what he's trying to do. And so that's where everybody's wondering, how's Iceman going to be in it?
Right.
What's going to be going on? What's Val Kilmer's role in it? Apparently that's it. It might be something really small, just a little conversation at a bar somewhere saying, hey, man, I would give him a chance. He's the guy, I used to be at heads with him and kind of, I don't know, but there you go.
So curious,
Yeah.
man. I'm so curious because, I mean, if anybody's watched Val, the documentary on Amazon Studios, or Amazon Prime, I should say, about Val Kilmer, what his situation is right now, it's rough, man. So I'm very curious to see how this went down and how he is going to be portrayed in this one. So.
Maybe Maverick saved his life. Maybe they write that in. Maybe there was some sort of a dogfight or something, and maybe Iceman would be dead if not for Maverick saving him, and they work in the injury. And that's why Iceman is saying, give him another chance, because this guy, while reckless, is the guy. I don't know.
That's
I'm just
deep. Yeah.
right.
Throwing it out there. Throwing it out there.
Yeah. Hey, as if Ridley Scott needs my help. Just
Exactly.
just whatever.
Exactly.
Former Hawaii Five-0 co-lead Scott Caan, James Caan's son, for anybody who doesn't know, is returning to CBS with a new hour-long drama in which he is also co-writing and executive producing. There you go. The network is in development on Topanga Land. Not Topanga from Boy Meets World.
It's not.
Not that Topanga. Topanga as in the area in California. I know you're disappointed. I would have liked Topanga Land also. I mean,
Right.
hey, that would have been great. In the series, a laid-back ex-cop, Caan, works for his legendary father's private detective agency, solving cases that take him from Malibu mansions to Topanga, hippie communes to Venice, back alleys, and everywhere in between, all while navigating a thorny relationship with his dad and the rest of his unconventional family. Now, I'm sorry, but if you don't cast James Caan as the legendary private investigator dad, epic fucking fail.
It
Just makes sense.
It would be a missed opportunity.
If the guy is legendary, cast a fucking legend. James Caan. Just do it. Just do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, we're just telling you our thoughts.
Exactly. Well, Annie Wersching will play the Borg Queen in the second season of Star Trek Picard. Annie will now be the third actress to take on the role after Alice Krige played the leader of the Borg Collective back in the film Star Trek First Contact and in Star Trek Voyager series finale. Susan Thompson also played the character in multiple episodes of Voyager. Exactly how the Borg Queen will factor into Season 2 is unknown at the moment, but chances are it will involve some manner of time travel. Very interesting. And an early trailer for the new season, which also gave fans a tease of John D. Lancey's return as Q. Hinted that the time would be a major theme in the next installment of the series. I know a lot of Trekkies are excited.
I'm super excited, and that's great casting as well. I was wondering when we were going to see her again. Last I remember, it was on Runaways. So, I mean, I'm pumped. She's a phenomenal actress, so that's going to be really good. Let's see, Paramount Plus's The Game revival has apparently added Tim Daly, all right, Superman himself, and Toby Sandeman to the cast, and we'll also see a special appearance from original series star Kobe Bell when it premieres November 11th. Daly will play a self-made billionaire and team owner Colonel Ulysses S. Thatcher.
Oh.
That sounds like a Southern name if I've ever heard one, right? Okay. While Sandeman will play the top football player in the league named Garrett Evans, Bell will, of course, reprise his role of former football star Jason Pitts. So that'll be interesting. I'm a huge Tim Daly fan. That's some good news there. So
Agreed. Paramount Plus also unveiled a first look at Taylor Sheridan's upcoming drama, Mayor of Kingstown, during its virtual TCA presentation this week. The 10-episode series stars Jeremy Renner and Kyle Chandler, with the Taylor Hanley to play McCluskey, brother in a city where incarnation is the only thriving industry. The show tackles themes of systematic racism, corruption, and inequality, and provides a look into their attempt to bring order and justice to a lawless town of Kingstown. Paramount Network will air the premiere event for Mayor of Kingstown on November 14th, following a new episode of Yellowstone, a back-to-back night of Sheridan Penn series. So that's very excited for the creator himself.
If you guys have not seen this trailer,
Dark, deep.
Oh yeah,
deep and dark.
Yeah, and Renner. That's a bad motherfucker.
He's so underrated.
I mean, he's
so underrated.
Watch this trailer, guys. You're gonna be like, oh, don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and of course Friday Night Lights, Kyle Chandler. It's epic. Watch the trailer. This one not so epic. Like, do we really need another? I'm right here with you. This is the Pet Cemetery thing. This is the Home Alone thing. This is another one. It's run its course. It's overdone. We don't need it. But apparently somebody thinks we do. Paramount Plus is set to be the exclusive home of the upcoming seventh Paranormal Activity film. Oof. The streamer, that's not good enough though, the streamer will also be launching a documentary on the making of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Both of which will be coming to the service in time for Halloween.
I just hate this form of filmmaking so much. The Blair Witch Project was something that's where it should have stopped. That type of filmmaking should have stopped with the first one. But
it was brilliant.
We just kept going and going and going, and it's awful. I mean, it's basically like watching home videos. You don't want to watch home videos when you pay to go to the theaters.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, the only reason Blair Witch worked is because nobody knew it was fake until it came out way later on that it was fake. The paranormal and all that, it was revealed way from the beginning that it was all just fake stories. Exactly. It was supposed to be as seen on this exclusive video, but everybody knew it was fake. That's why it's never been able to kind of get what Blair Witch got. Yeah. Right? But, I mean, just stop.
I know, right?
Just I know. Jordan Peele, you know him. Now, that's a guy who can do some horror shit. Okay. That's a guy who can do some twisted, weird shit, okay? And because he's so good at it, apparently he's getting some deals. Jordan Peele and his Monkey Paw Productions banner have inked a new creative TV partnership with Universal Studios Group. The exclusive pack follows Peele's existing bond with the company established in 2019 under the film banner with Universal Pictures to deal and write and direct hit horror films such as Get Out and Us, which jointly have grossed more than $500 million worldwide. So again, it only makes sense that they would want to keep that relationship going, and what kind of creepy shit's he going to bring to TV?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm just saying. It's going to be good.
Man, oh man. And the upcoming 23rd season of NBC's Law & Order SVU will be without two key characters. Yeah. Jamie Gray Hyder, who plays Officer Kat Timmon, and Demore Barnes, who portrays Deputy Chief Christian Garland, are departing the series. Their exits will be revealed during the 2-hour Season 23 premiere on Thursday, September 23rd. Both were introduced back in Season 21 as recurring, and both were promoted to series regulars in Season 22 as well. So I'm interested. I mean, with something as big and as a fucking well-oiled machine as a Law & Order series, especially SVU, why would you want to leave? Or is it something behind the scenes where you're just like, I have to leave?
I have a theory,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah?
just going to throw it out there, because these are pretty much new characters that were introduced just within the last couple of years. They have significant storylines going on. It doesn't make sense right away to kind of have them just exit the series, right? But I'm thinking it's like let's do a sports analogy. It's salary cap reasons. I think they're trying to clear room under the salary cap because I think the goal is a second season for organized crime, and then Stabler's coming back to the main franchise.
Oh, wow.
And they have to clean out room to get him in there.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's my theory. That is all just theory. That is rumor. That is in my head. That is not fact. I'm just putting that out there because it seems like they're always having budget issues on the main show.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring Stabler back, one, you would have to keep people out of there and clean up some room. So that's my thought.
It's an interesting theory.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
How that goes. Because, I mean, especially with the ratings being so huge for organized crime.
Yeah, well, but I think that's because of Stabler. I think everybody'd be fine if that one ended and they brought Stabler back.
Yeah.
It's not like they would have to ditch the characters from organized crime because
No.
they were bouncing back and forth between the shows anyway.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
I know.
Just my thought.
Just his thoughts. Well, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama reboot series at the Peacock, Bel-Air, has a new cast member, Jabari Banks, in the lead role. Banks will play the role of Will, who was played by the one and only Will Smith in the original 90s sitcoms. Banks was informed by Smith himself that he had landed the part in the video, which he can be seen above if you watch the link. Somewhere. Banks currently lives in West Philadelphia, where it's also the birthplace of the character, obviously. He graduated from the University of Arts in Philadelphia in 2020. In addition to acting, he is a songwriter, singer, and rapper, and also a basketball player. So, I mean, he fits the role perfectly.
I mean, could have it been more destined? The guy's name is Banks.
Yeah.
It's the Banks family that Fresh Prince goes to. He's born and raised in West Philadelphia. If he got his ass kicked on the playground playing basketball, I mean, I think it was just only
Exactly.
Unbelievable. The Vampire Academy series at Peacock has set the main cast for its season 1. The show will star Sissy Stringer, Danielle Neves, Kieran Moore, Andre Day, Kim, J. August Richards. Hey, all right, our guy from Council of Dads. We love that. Anita Joy Uwa, Mia McKenna Bruce, Rian Blundell, Jeanette Kaiser, and Andrew Liner. The series takes place at St. Vladimir's Academy, which isn't just a boarding school. It's a hidden place where vampire royals are educated and half-human teens trained to protect them from the savage Strigoi vampires who would like to see them destroyed.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Vampires are always very popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one is a hit. So, you know how that goes.
I agree.
Yeah. NBC's Annie Live. The Sun Will Come Out has booked Jane Krasowski as Lily St. Riggs. Krasowski reunites with her Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt co-star Titus Burgess in the live holiday musical, as she will play the sassy and sticky-fingered partner of his swindler, Rooster Hannigan. The character duo will plot to get rich and duet on Easy Street. So,
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these musicals, like, they go over so well as on ABC and NBC, so I'm excited for it, and Annie's a classic. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
I mean, just anything with Harry Connick Jr. and I'm in. And Jen Krakowski's fantastic, so
Agreed.
that's going to be great. All right, jump into Sony. We have. I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed about this, but it just makes sense, and maybe eventually we'll get one, but not right now. Sony's Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and by the way, if you haven't seen that trailer, what the fuck, watch that trailer.
So good.
It's apparently been given an official rating finally, PG-13. I know a lot of fans were out there were hoping that we would finally see an R1, seeing that Deadpool's been successful, seeing that we could get a little bit more violent on Disney Plus with the Marvel stuff, but it's not happening, guys. PG-13. Apparently that's for intense sequences of violence and action, some strong language, disturbing material, and suggestive references.
Which it's weird, too, because you feel like, I mean, Venom would definitely be a great rated R movie.
I mean, the Carnage is a serial killer.
Literally.
I mean, you would think if they were going to do it, I think they're being held back because the goal is always to get Tom Holland's Spider-Man into these films.
That's what it is.
And I just don't think they can they can do that.
Yeah.
So
You
I
know,
think that's why.
Yeah, you got to draw that fine line. Sony has pushed back the release date for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Another one bites the dust.
Go ahead, say it. 80s. Another 80s one.
The blockbuster sequel will now open on November 19th instead of November 11th. So, I mean, that's not much of a pushback for now.
No.
Anyway, you never know. Sony has postponed Ghostbusters Afterlife several times amid COVID-19 crisis, but the studio has remained determined to keep the film on the big screen, which we appreciate, especially for a beloved franchise like this one that we can all just forget about the third one, so it's fine. The one that did not exist. But yeah, I'm super pumped, and a little teaser. We talked to the casting director of this one. So,
yes.
You know, that's next week. Stay tuned.
Right.
Stay tuned. But yeah, guys, I mean, that sucks. This next one is by no surprise. You're happy about this.
This is like anybody who didn't see this one coming would just, I don't know what was wrong with you, because it was the most obvious story that was going to happen.
Last 3 weeks, yeah.
Sony has fired Mike Richards as the executive producer of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. Michael Davies, the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire executive producer, will take over the production duties in the interim. Richards' exit comes a little more than a week after he was forced to step down as Jeopardy host, just 9 days after he was tapped to succeed Alex Trebek as host. Richards currently has a rich overall deal at Sony, so discussions on the fate of his relationship at the studio are currently underway. You have cause.
Yeah.
You have
literally
cause. Don't do a fucking Les Moonves shit, okay? Don't give the man a fucking luxury office and a huge salary. Gut him. Get rid of him. Just, that's all I'm saying. He's got a long-term deal with it. Fuck that.
Right.
I mean,
break
this
that
guy
shit. Pay him out. Just get him out because he's not good for business.
Exactly.
Just saying. Just saying. Heading over to MGM, they released the final trailer for No Time to Die, and what Daniel Craig said that would be his final time playing the one and only 007.
It's true.
The trailer opening provides a look back on Bond's history and what has brought him to this point in No Time to Die. Bond has left an active service as enjoying a tranquil life in Jamaica. His peace is short-lived, though, when his old friend Felix Leiter from the CIA turns up asking for help. The mission to rescue a kidnapped scientist turns out to be far more treacherous than expected.
Thank you, Tweety Bird.
Leading Bond into a trail of mysterious villains armed with dangerous and new technology. Now, the film is set to hit U.S. theaters on October 8th, but this is another one that we might never see because of fucking COVID.
It's true.
I wouldn't be surprised within the next couple weeks if the numbers keep spiking. We're going to go back to like it was, lockdown and people pulling shit off the theatrical release schedule.
And that could be Twetwist.
That could be Twetwist.
That villain more Twetwist than Tweety Bird. Okay. Jump into Lionsgate. This is one that will it, won't it, will it, won't it, will it, won't it. Well, apparently it will. The question is, do we want it? A new Expendables movie is apparently in the works, with Jason Statham and Sylvester Stallone among the cast members returning to the elite mercenaries task force with carrying out perilous missions. Now, along with Statham and Stallone, franchise vets Dolph Lundgren and Randy Couture are reprising their roles for the fourth installment as well. But get this, they're being joined by some newcomers. Yes. And it's 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson himself, Megan Fox, Tony Jaa are joining the series. The film from Lionsgate and Millennium Media will begin production this fall. Now, I was a fan of Megan Fox. I was. I no longer. I just, you know.
Yeah, it did. Hasn't done anything great recently, so no. I mean,
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Like I said, hasn't done anything great.
Ha ha! But I mean, Expendables is just like the definition of a star-studded action movie, like literally definition. So, I mean, I always thought they were entertaining. So let's see how the next one does. Hopefully, they don't go forever.
Yeah,
too.
I think Sly is trying to make Expendables like the Fast and Furious shit. Let's not do that. Let's just not.
Netflix heading over to the streaming giant.
This is huge.
Everybody's been waiting for it, man. We announced this probably like 2 or 3 years ago. All 180 episodes of the classic 90s sitcom Seinfeld are launching October 1st on Netflix. We told you about it. Netflix acquired the rights of Seinfeld back in 2019 in an expensive 5-year, $500 million deal with Sony Television, which controls the distribution of the former NBC series. Then the show will stay under the streaming deal with Hulu. What? Really? Interesting. Where it stayed until June of this year. Since June, though, Seinfeld has not been available on any streaming platform, so that makes sense because it's going there. But, I mean, everybody's been waiting for this one. Everybody loves Seinfeld. It's one of the best sitcoms ever, so...
And it's just goes to the whole confusing thing of these streaming services, right? Now that these studios have their own streaming services, this is what you paid $500 million to get the rights to a show, and you had to wait 2 years before you could show it.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Like, hey, we're going to give you $500 million. Call us in a couple of years. We'll swap.
Yeah.
We'll swap. That is insane to me.
It
That
really
just
is.
crazy.
And I mean, basically, if you think about it, because of Cobra Kai and this one, and probably multiple other ones, Sony's streaming service is basically Netflix.
Without doubt. Without doubt. Yeah. I mean, go figure.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Will they ever do one of their own? I don't know. I will say rumors are picking up again about Disney buying Sony. At least the film division.
That would definitely...
Right, because Sony's an electronics company. The film division is just a part of it, right? But the rumors apparently are... They want Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the rumors are ramping up that Disney's going to make a play for Sony. If not all of Sony, the film division for sure. And that's going to be really interesting.
For sure.
This one, again, why? Why? Netflix has picked up the global rights to the latest installment of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Why?
I don't know. The new movie takes place years after the shocking events of the original in a setting where Leatherface hasn't been seen or heard from since. The cast includes Elise Fisher, Sarah Yarkin, Jacob Lattimore, and Mo Dunford. Sorry. Why?
I was never a big fan of any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I was not either.
It's just, unnecessary. I feel like it's a cheap knockoff of Halloween, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Huge fan of this, though.
Yeah. Vanessa Kirby has formed a creative partnership with former employer Netflix, where she will produce a slate of feature films. Kirby, who starred as Princess Margaret in the streamer's royal hit The Crown, will work with former Film Force senior executive Lauren Dark under Kirby's new incorporated Alona Entertainment banner. Their aim is to focus on projects that explore the spectrum of female experience to aim to make a high-end, engrossing stories for universal appeal. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Vanessa Kirby is like one of the most underrated actresses out there right now. I think she's phenomenal in like every fucking thing she does. So good for Netflix for landing her. That's going to be huge for them.
Agreed.
More casting news for Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg's movie Me Time. Apparently Regina Hall is set to join them in the flick. Details on what character she's going to play are unknown at this time.
Of course.
But as soon as we know, you'll know.
Of course, always. This next one heading over to Amazon, and I'm surprised they took a risk with this guy. Dave Franco is not Dave. Dave's the good one. James is the bad one. Dave Franco is set to direct.
No risk.
No risk. It's good. It's good. Set to direct Somebody I Used to Know, a romantic comedy starring Allison Brie, Jay Ellis, and Chrissy Clemens. Franco and Brie co-wrote the script for the film, which is being developed at Amazon Studios as we speak. Somebody I Used to Know follows a workaholic Allie who reunites with an ex-boyfriend on a trip to her hometown. The rendezvous that makes her start to
What's in your coffee,
question exactly. To question all of her prior life choices. The turn of events only get more confusing when she meets Cassidy, a younger woman who reminds her of the person she used to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say it. I was today years old when I found out that Franco and Allison Brie were married. I had no idea they were
No
a couple.
idea. I didn't know either.
None. I don't know how we missed that.
Right?
But there you go. Good for them for working together, though, and he's not the bad one.
Exactly. Not the bad one.
The Dead Ringer series at Amazon has added both Jennifer Ailey and Emily Mead in recurring roles. They joined previously announced series lead Rachel Weisz, as well as cast members Michael Chernus, Poppy Lou, Brittany Alford, and Jeremy Shamos. Now, the series will see, as we've told you, Weisz playing the double lead role of Elliot and Beverly Mantle, twins who share everything: drugs, lovers, and an unapologetic desire to do whatever it takes, including pushing the boundaries on medical ethics in an effort to challenge antiquated practices and bring women's health care to the forefront.
This is such an interesting story. I'm so curious.
And now with the whole big kind of abortion swing going back into, I have to imagine that's going to play heavily into this storyline.
For sure. Woo. For sure. Well, now heading to Apple, the third chapter of Dickinson will be its last. Apple TV Plus announced that the series starring Haley Steinfeld will wrap with the upcoming season 3, which has set to launch in November. The first 3 episodes will debut November 5th, with the remaining 7 bowing on ensuing Fridays. So, I mean, I kind of like when they do this. It gives me something to look forward to, but then at the same time, I'm like, I just want to fucking watch it all.
Yeah, this one totally makes sense to me, though, because Hawkeye is about to debut, and we know Hawkeye is setting up the Young Avengers, and so I think Haley's going to be pretty fucking busy.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
Agreed.
she didn't have time to keep doing Dickinson, so
No.
it only makes sense. Speaking of former Avengers that aren't so busy anymore, and you were wondering what they were going to do, well, Apple Studios has apparently set a high-profile project that will re-team Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans in Ghosted,
yes.
directed by Dexter Fletcher. Now, details are being kept under wraps, but the project is being described as a high-concept romantic action adventure in the vein of Romancing the Stone. Remember that with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas? So that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
I mean, Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson have always had that kind of relationship where you always thought they were together, but they were never together, but you thought they were together kind of thing. So that chemistry is going to play really well on screen, I think.
I agree, too. I completely agree. But, I mean, it's going to be so hard for people to, action adventure. They're just going to look at these two like Natasha and fucking
I'm Steve.
So,
I mean, it's true.
It's so
true.
funny.
And if they should totally poke fun at the Avengers if they do that.
They should.
I mean, just saying.
Apple Studios has greenlit Raymond and Ray, a new feature film that unites Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke in a story of two half-brothers who reunite at a funeral of their father. McGregor will play Raymond, while Hawke will portray Ray, both whom grapple with the legacy of their difficult relationship with their demanding parent. According to the logline, somehow they still each have a sense of humor, and their father's funeral is a chance for them to reinvent themselves. There's anger, there's pain, and there's folly. There will be love, but it's definitely going to be grave digging.
Whoa. What
does this mean?
I don't even know, but I can totally see Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke as brothers.
Yeah.
Even just half-brother. That's great casting.
I think so,
So that's
too.
going to be pretty cool.
Pumped about it, man. Super pumped about it. Well, now it is time for the one and only Matt Hamilton to come on the show and talk about Turner and Hooch and basically anything and everything. Sit back, crack open a brewski. I mean, you guys know we have fun with it.
I mean, seriously, and he may be the first guest who's actually dropped more F-bombs than me.
Seriously?
I'm just saying. And in a great way, though. I fucking love it. See what I did there?
So good, man. So good. Well, here he is.
Matt Hamilton, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you tonight?
I'm excellent. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. I mean,
why Crazy Ant Farm? What does that mean?
All right. So the name of our company is Crazy Ant Media. So that's where the name Inside the Crazy Ant Farm comes. It's just a play off the name of the company name.
Yeah.
And we're crazy. So
exactly. We are fellow filmmakers. We just got done shooting our first film. So we're very excited about that. We're trying to get anywhere and everywhere. Thanks, you.
Man. Thanks.
We really appreciate it.
That's cool. Hey, it's hard to make a movie. What's the movie?
It's called Deadlines. It's a drama suspense, kind of deals with a lot of different issues, man. It's pretty heavy. It's got racism and equality and just gun violence and a bunch of different issues that it deals with. But it's a fun, it deals with it in an entertaining kind of a way, and it's got a nice little twist ending that nobody sees coming at the end. So
basically, to get people to talk about the gray area in life, trying to make people comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, man,
cool.
living the
Congrats,
dream.
guys. That's cool.
Oh, thanks, man. It'll be available on Amazon and run the circuit, the film festival circuit. So we'll let you know. You can watch.
All right, deal.
Fantastic. We're pretty pumped, by the way, tonight because this is we get to interview the big dog himself. So come on now. By the way, that's fantastic. I love the big dog. That was too funny, man. Too funny. But how we want to jump into this thing, because what we like to do is just kind of tell everybody how you kind of got started in the industry, man. Was acting something you always knew you wanted to do, or did you kind of just fall into it, or how'd that happen, man?
I kind of got in backwards. So when I was younger, I was I did plays in school and shit like that. But I was always a writer when I was a kid. I was always writing short stories, but writing them as movies. So I remember my first year of university, I took a writing class that had 3 parts to it. It was like poetry, short fiction, and screenwriting. And the screenwriting thing was like, wait, what? You can do this? Okay, right. And so I left the university after 1 year and went to Vancouver Film School.
Nice.
For screenwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my education there, and my first feature I wrote won this contest. I got this agent in New York, and I was like 20, fucking how old was I? 22. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be rich. Perfect. This is great.
Yeah.
And I just did that young, stupid thing where I just waited for the script to make me money. It made me a little bit of money off an auction, but nothing really. And I didn't really do much writing. So I went back to university, finished my degree, then started doing kind of like shorts and sketches and things like that, and acting in them. And a friend of mine who's an actor, she was like, you need to go get an agent. You need to do this. I was in Victoria at the time, which is an hour and a half ferry ride from Vancouver. And she was like, you need to go to Vancouver, get an agent, all this stuff. And I was like, okay. So I did. And then, so I got an agent, and then I booked a commercial, the first month, and then a TV movie second month. And I was like, oh, this is easy.
Oh,
This is fun. And then you go into that thing where it's like, it's a young actor. I didn't fucking know anything. I wasn't even that young either. It was like, I didn't start acting like that. I was like 29 or something like that. And so you go a year and a half without booking anything. You're like, oh yeah, right. This is really hard. This is really hard.
Yeah.
So I kind of did that, and I kind of worked my way up doing you do the one-day roles on shows and movies and stuff like that. And then I remember the first time I booked Supernatural, it was like 5 days on set, and I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a one-day thing, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so then you start to kind of get the roles, the opportunities and the roles get a little bigger and stuff like that until.
Well, yeah, I feel like Supernatural's a gateway, right? That thing was on forever, and the fan base and cult from that show is huge. You get on that show, you're like, no, I'm gonna get something from this for sure.
Oh, it's huge! Man, that show went 15 seasons, and the ratings were still huge for it.
Yeah, it only ended because they wanted to end it. The CW guy was like, we'll keep that going until they're done. I mean, that's awesome, man.
That's such an awesome story. And I mean, we hear both sides of the spectrum, how important education in acting is in entertainment industry, and how you can just go to the School of Hard Knocks and learn as you go. So where do you fall on that spectrum? Was it beneficial to you personally to go back to school and finish your education for it?
For my screenwriting, it definitely was. So I was at a point where I had written a couple features, and I had a thing optioned at one point. I got hired to rewrite a script that actually never shot. And so I had done a little bit of stuff when I went back, and I was like, why the hell am I going back to writing with 21-year-old kids is not going to help me fucking do anything. But that was just me being naive and whatever. And so out of that kind of, because not only do you write more, but you read more. You're reading everyone's stuff. And then that kind of just keeps the muscle in your brain that is your writing muscle. That's probably a good way to describe it, right?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. You have to be a little this to be in the industry, man. It's like,
No shit. Amen to that. And so what I had done is I met some people and cultivated some really cool relationships in university, and some people that I have written stuff with and still are in contact with and done stuff. So I thought it was really beneficial, specifically for screenwriting. I mean, I can't speak to like acting schools and stuff like that, because I think that's a bit of a different thing. Like, it's kind of, I think some acting classes can be great. But you can learn a lot. But an actual school, because you can have like, listen, if you go to an accounting school, even if you're really stupid, eventually you'll learn accounting, right? Some form of it. There's people out there who can't fucking act.
Yeah.
And you can teach them about subtext and all this shit all you want, but some people just can't do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, like, I think a lot of schools are filled with people who dream to do stuff like that and just aren't good enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But
Exactly. And we talk about that too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We talk about that as well. Like, there has to be a point in your life where you've been doing it for so many years, and maybe it's just not your thing. You have to accept it, you know? Like, maybe you got to take a step back. You can still be involved in the entertainment industry in some sort of capacity, but maybe you're not an actor. Like, if you're 39 about to hit 40 and been trying to do it for 20 years, maybe it's not your thing.
Yeah. I know. I talked to my buddy about this, and he was like, the tricky thing is, how do you tell somebody to give up on their dream? And it's like,
yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, if it's been 20 years and you've booked like 2 real things, and
that's right.
None of them has been more than a day on set, it's like the industry kind of tells you.
It does. It does. And it's all about...
It's kind of a thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, and it's all about the support system, right? The group of people. Mm-hmm. You don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of yes people that are going to tell you to keep doing it. Oh, my God, you're so great. You're amazing. You need those real people in your life that'll be like, hey, man, you're a great writer, but you shouldn't be in front of the fucking camera. You can't get, you can't do that shit. So figure, you need those people in your life and in that circle, right? So I think we talk about that, too, that the support system that you have, because it's a tough mental game in this industry, man. I mean, you got to have some thick skin, and you got to be able to deal with a lot of rejection. And like you said, you can go months and months and months and book one thing. You're auditioning constantly. So if you're not strong, if you're not there mentally, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Someone once described the industry to me as, they're like, it's a sea of no's with a couple of yeses sprinkled in. I'm like, yeah. It's very much accurate.
That's it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, I mean, you brought it up, and we're huge fans of it, so let's talk about it. Supernatural. What was that process like when you first got cast in this thing? Were you just like, holy fuck, my life is about to change?
Yeah. It was really, well, I didn't even think that far ahead, because I didn't really, when did I first do it? Was I even on Instagram back then? I don't even remember. But I didn't really get the cultural relevance of the show. But I knew it was a big Vancouver show.
Right.
And so, like I said, I first got it, and it was like 5 days. I was like, whoa, fucking cool.
Yeah, right.
So I got to shoot my first episode with a guy who I met, who we're still buddies to this day, who played like I can't remember if we're brothers on the show or cousins, or I think IMDb screwed our credits up. They have me as like a sheriff.
Yeah, they do. I saw that.
Which I'm not. I wasn't. I was one of the Wellrolf brothers. But
that's so much better than sheriff.
Yeah. I had a weird name. It was like Bob, I can't remember. Anyway, but it was cool. It was cool, like, doing it, because there came a point where it's like I was watching Jensen do his thing, and I was like, I think I could do that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think I could do that. I mean, he's way far ahead of the game at this point, but it's like, you see how and those two dudes were so awesome. Like, everyone talks about the divas and stuff like that, and there certainly are, but it's kind of like any job, there's going to be assholes,
right?
You know what I mean? Even if it's people that aren't trying to be assholes, it's just long hours, early mornings, you don't know what they got going on. They might have a young kid at home, they didn't sleep, they might be on drugs, whatever it is. Yeah, and sometimes who's on drugs.
That's right.
Yeah, but these guys
some breaking exclusive stuff for us right now, bro. No, I'm kidding.
Probably shouldn't. But Jensen and Jared were so fucking cool and so rad, and Jensen just had, like, I think his kid was about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
At the time, but he was like, didn't have any attitude about it. And everyone, and that kind of bleeds down through the show. Because because at that point, I think I was on season 9. So everyone, most of the cast and crew, most of the crew had kind of stayed the same. So everyone's kind of friends, and it was a cool vibe, and it was a lot of fun. And then like I did Arrow too, and I went to that show, and that was a fucking whole different scene.
I can imagine.
Nobody wanted to be there. Everyone fucking hated it, and it was. But I mean, that show was like, I think I was in the premiere of season 4, so we're 3 days into the shooting of the new season, and it does like night shoots.
Yeah.
Because it all shoots at night.
Yeah.
So it's right at the beginning of people's sleep schedule changing and stuff like that, and they're behind, and it was just like, I remember when I finished rapping, I was like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, and it wasn't like anyone specific. Like I had my stuff with Steven, and he was super cool with me.
Sure.
And we chatted baseball, and he was exhausted.
Yeah.
It was filming up to 3 a.m. And I remember there's this one part where we were behind, and the director, in my scene, I had to he wakes up in a cargo plane, and we've drugged him, and I have to tell him to do a bunch of shit before he goes skydiving out the back.
Yeah.
And so I pull my gun and I walk while I'm telling him stuff, but they wanted to do it on 2 different oneers. And so I had to change my angle halfway through the walk. For one camera, but not go too far for the other one.
Right.
So I was constantly in my head about that shit. And then at one point, people are getting really annoyed because it's we're 2 hours behind, and we're going into overtime, and this is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And at one point, we're about to shoot, and I just kind of raise my gun and do this for the camera guy. And he goes, no, you can't see your face, dude. If I'm like that, you got to put the gun down like this. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, no problem.
Yeah,
I'll bring it to here. Great. And then the other camera goes, hey man, what are you doing? You gotta fucking he's gonna knock it right at your hand. Point at his head.
Oh my
what?
God.
And they're like, and roll sound. And I'm like, I don't know. Wait, should I? And Steven could tell that I was I didn't know what the fuck to do. And whatever. And Steven goes, hang on, Matt, point the gun here. You guys figure it out outside of that.
That's see, there you go.
Oh, thank God. Just waiting for the cut. Matt, what the fuck are you doing? Why'd you hire me?
Oh my gosh, I love that though. You know what, both of those stories though, the total differences in the set of Supernatural and Arrow, but the one thing I take away from when you said with Jensen, it's hey, I think maybe I can do this, right? Being on a set is invaluable. Whether it's a great experience or a rough experience like Arrow, right? You learn something. And that you can't get that in a school. Or you can't get that. No. That's the kind of stuff that if you're not on set, you're not getting. And so any role is valuable, right? So to kind of get that game going. So I love hearing that. I love hearing both sides of it.
Well, and also you talk to people I've never done background work or stuff like that, but I think if that's a way to, if you're really interested in acting, that's a good way to get in.
Absolutely.
Because when I first jumped on sets, I had no fucking idea what set etiquette was other than shit that I did. You know what I mean?
Right.
So but I knew enough not to just run my mouth and go up to people and grab shit. And I was just okay, be quiet, do your shit, get the hell out.
That's it.
Kind of thing. But if you work background or stand-in or something like that, you get a really, really good sense of what's acceptable, how sets are run, how good sets are run, how bad sets are run.
Yeah.
It's kind of like movies. You can learn a lot from a great movie. You can learn even more from a shitty one.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's that's a good way to put it. Being on set is the best kind of acting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's fantastic to hear, and especially for all the listeners out there trying to break into the entertainment industry. But we want to talk about the big one, the one that you're on for, Turner and Hooch on Disney Plus right now. It's huge for Disney Plus. And let's start at the very beginning. How did you get cast in this one? Did you hear about it through the grapevine, or did you just kind of go into a cattle call?
Yeah, it was kind of I was shooting a movie in the interior of British Columbia, a place called Kelowna. It's wine country, lake country, that kind of thing. So I was shooting a movie, and I got the audition. I read it, and I was like, oh man, this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. This is exactly the shit I want to do. I love doing cop stuff.
Yeah.
And I love doing comedy. So
There
it's
you
like this, and you don't get it like in Vancouver. You don't get a lot. There's not a lot of comedy here.
There's not a lot of
there's
comedy
not.
there. No, no.
So you don't really get the opportunity that much. I try and bring it in when I do, like I've done a lot of those like TV movies, and when I get cast as like the best friend, I try and, your job is essentially like expo dump. Like, here's exposition.
Basically.
Here's exposition. So I usually kind of rewrite my dialogue or try and improv it or just try and make it interesting or funny.
Yeah.
If that's going to be my role. So I try to bring comedy into stuff, but never actually like full comedy. So I was super excited, and I taped. I taped it in a hotel room. My friend Becky, she read for me, and she would finish. She's like, "Oh yeah, this guy's for sure in your alley."
Oh yeah.
And then a buddy of mine was he's a reader for the casting company, and I was just chatting to him one day about, I don't know, whether we're gonna meet up or go pitching putting or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, I can't. I got to go in. We're doing Turner and Hooch callback." Like, I didn't get a fucking callback for that. No way. And he goes, "Hey, let me check." And he looked. He's like, "Oh, they haven't got to your role yet, so whatever." And because it was COVID, so I got my callback. So because it was COVID, we had to do it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in my audition, I kind of improv a bunch of shit too.
Mm-hmm.
So you do the Zoom callback, but it's tricky, right? Because on Zoom on your phone, when somebody laughs or something, their screen pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was like Matt Nix was on, he's the showrunner, and Mike Horowitz is there, the EP. There's some, network people, there's casting people, there was the reader, who was my buddy. And yeah, there was and because I was like, you know what? I fucking got that callback and I had improv a lot. I'm just gonna kind of do something similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do it, but then every time someone would laugh, the screen would change.
Super
And so my eye
distracting.
lines are split,
Yeah.
and it's kind of distracting. But then they were like, Matt was like, "Okay, so this is what happens after, just so you know. Let's do it again, and just give you that information."
Right.
And so I got to kind of riff on that stuff too, and it went like it was one of those ones where it finished, and I went, "Okay, I crushed it. If I don't get it, it's all good. I just did what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I'm happy with what I did. If they want to go another way with it, boom, it's out of my control."
I mean, I got to tell you, I absolutely love the character. I mean, he is like the guy that you want to hate, but you can't.
You can't.
You can't hate him. You just kind of feel for this guy, and it's like as much as he's like a total douche, right? You're like, but we love this guy. I mean, and you're like, I guess the learning lesson, right? Like every week, the lesson learned is this guy bringing something that you're gonna be like, well, that's what not to do. This guy, and last week's episode. I mean, just everything about it. It's like, the interaction back and forth with you're making the guy sit and you just safeguard the cars. You're going to sit in a tree or whatever. That back and forth between the two of y'all was just brilliant. You're just like, no, that's what I said. You're doing that. And I was just dying. I mean, it's so good, man. Was a lot of that ad-lib, do you have a lot of free play on that type set, like when you're doing it?
Yeah, they do. And so I remember my first day going in, the first scene I shot was that boardroom scene in the first episode, like my first episode.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went, it's a big show and all these people, and I'd met some people at the read-throughs of episode 2 and 3, but I just kind of went, fuck, you know what? They hired me to do this shit. I'm gonna kind of, freelance, improv a bit.
Hell yeah.
And they loved it. And so it just became a thing where they always I'd always do one kind of close to the script or whatever.
Right.
And sometimes I would go too much, but they really liked the banter that happens with like me and Brandon, me and Josh. So they just kind of let us riff a lot of times. Like that one scene you're talking about with Brandon, they just kind of let us go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And there's one line he had that I wish they kept. It was so funny. So I'm doing that thing where it's like, oh, you got to go, but over here, but it's the furthest part.
Yeah.
And I remember I said, I go, yeah, but it's the really far part. The further the better. I'm like, what? How was that better? Funny, but they didn't keep it. But it was good. And me, I get paired with Brandon in episode 8 or 9, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we get to do a bunch more funny shit.
How he's able to keep that straight face though the whole time is just I'm just dying the whole. I mean, how does he not break? He's fantastic.
He's definitely the most out of me, him, and Josh. He's the most professional actor. Like Josh breaks first, and the moment he breaks, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. But Brandon can keep it together.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
That's so freaking funny. And I mean, with it being such a fun set, and it seems like everybody is gelling really well and kind of like this family dynamic, are there any like funny stories or like embarrassing stories that you can tell us on here exclusively?
Exclusively. Because we shot during COVID, we weren't really allowed to do a whole bunch of shit
that makes sense.
outside it. Unfortunately, because we had even near the end of the shooting, we kind of had organized. I had my buddy who owns a bar. We're gonna do this, rent it out, and do this rap party. But then all these COVID numbers spiked, and well, that's off. So we didn't really get to hang out that much outside from the odd beer here and there. But but the cat that was a rare show. Like there was no assholes on that set. Like everyone was really cool. Everyone was really welcoming. Josh had to do like handling those dogs is no joke, man.
Can imagine.
Those things are fucking good. His hands on episode 3 were already all calloused up and
I bet.
Just from the leashes. And so he was in almost all the time, and he's got all the work to do, and he's doing all this shit. He's got a young kid with him up. He was in Vancouver when we were shooting, and he never complained. Ever complained.
Wow.
He always had a good attitude. He was always super fun and agreeable, and he was really open to, and he's great improvising too. So it's like when we're doing something and it's like, hey, I want to try something after this. He goes, yeah, fuck it, let's go. And it's awesome.
Hell yeah. Something I think is really special about this show is because, being on Disney Plus, of course there's like the Marvel action-packed, but I didn't know what to expect with this one. But then literally the first and second episode, there's like explosions happening, there's gunfights. Like this is really freaking entertaining. So I was really happy to see that. And with that, is there a lot of stunts that you get to perform, or do you got a stunt guy that steps in for you?
Both. I got to do my own stunts, but also had a stunt guy. So the last episode where I get flipped up, I don't physically actually get flipped up. They shot that with a splinter unit.
Yeah.
But I got to hang upside down and do all that shit and go up to cut my rope and stuff like that. So, man, you get dizzy real quick.
I bet, man.
Let me tell you that. But I got to do a fight. I have a fight scene in episode 8 or 9. That's like in the script. It was I get kicked, I body check a guy, he cuts my arm. I was like, oh, that'd be cool, whatever. And then a couple days before we shot that, I was on set. I'm like, hey, at lunch we want to walk you through the stunt. I'm like, really? It seems kind of straightforward. But, all right, let's do it. And it's this huge elaborate fight scene where this guy gets punched and flipped and smashed, and I get roundhouse, so I get this full knife fight with this guy.
Oh shit!
He kicks me, and I was like, I gotta fucking do that? Like, yeah.
Can we walk through that one more time?
Yeah. I had 2 days to learn it, actually, it's pretty funny. Where's my phone? I'll show you this. And so a couple days, I had it. I felt pretty confident in it, and we were shooting it in pieces, so it's all good. So the first scene, the first bit is we go to this guy who's like in a hospital wearing a mask. Me and a dude, and I get him to take his mask off to see if he's the scarred bad guy.
Right.
And he is. And so the guy goes, the cop goes up to him and he gets punched and flipped. And I pull my gun and he kicks my gun out of my hand, and then he smashes the guy and roundhouses me in the chest to the ground. And so it's like, okay, cool, I got this. And so it happens, boom, boom, boom. He kicks the gun out. And I guess, I'm not an experienced stunt guy.
Right.
I guess I got down a little bit, so he roundhoused me. He fucking booted me right in the face.
Oh shit! Oh.
But I stayed in it. I stayed in it, got down, got up, and I was like, they're like, cut. I was like, Here, I got a freeze frame of it. I can't show you the video.
We got.
I'm not allowed to.
Sure,
But,
that makes sense. Makes sense.
YouTube exclusive. We're trying to raise our YouTube numbers, so if
There
they
you
watch
go.
us on
There you
YouTube,
go.
there we go.
It is pretty good. It's a pretty good photo. You see that?
Oh, shit.
damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right in the chops.
Yeah,
And
man.
so, and you learn pretty quickly how, like, at first, because I love growing up watching like Bruce Willis movies and action movies.
Sure.
And I love it. And so I was so stoked that I was like, I'm doing my own fight scene. This is fucking rad. After about 45 minutes, I was like, my head hurts. I'm exhausted. I've changed my shirt 3 times. So I keep sweating through it.
Yeah.
I was like, this kind of sucks. But Skylar, so I did all like the in tight stuff.
Yeah.
So I did the whole thing in tight, and then there's a wide, which moves a bit quicker because
Sure.
Skylar, who is my dude, is like a fucking ninja. And so he did it from the wide, and then we moved in for the pieces, and I did all that stuff. But
Nice.
yeah, it was cool. It was really, really, it was cool. I'm so glad I did it. I have some friends who are stunt actors. I don't know if I could do that full time. So hey,
Yeah.
kudos to them.
Kudos to them. And I mean, we talk about all the time how the Oscars is always back and forth whether the stunt people should deserve an Oscar. Hell yes. Like,
Yes, they absolutely should have a category, man.
They get
should.
smashed around.
Yeah. But look, you got that picture though, right? I mean, so that's badass. Yeah, that's a memory right there.
The video is funny. I wish I could show you the video. I can't. But
Maybe
the video is pretty funny.
All right, so hear me out. I've got to like I have this theory about your character, right? I feel like you may just need some love, right? So here, now this is the writer in me, so you be sure to pass this along if you want. But I'm thinking because it's clearly going, we all know how it's gonna go, right? Scott is not going to end up with the U.S. attorney. He's going to end up with the dog trainer. We all know it. It's all where it's going. It's everything. So I'm thinking maybe you and the U.S. attorney can find a little. I feel like that's a couple that could be compatible.
I
that
think
could
so,
maybe
too.
understand each other and maybe help each other out. I mean, I'm just saying.
I tell you what. We haven't been greenlit for season 2 yet.
Yeah.
They do have an idea of who my character wants to date. I can't give you who,
Oh shit.
but they've definitely thought about that, and I think it would be really fun.
So, well, good. See, because we're thinking about that too, and I think it's a given.
Hey, listen,
man.
I'm glad you guys are on my side. I like it.
Yeah, no, we love it, and I think it's a given that season 2's coming, bro. Don't worry.
completely.
Now the real question is though, and you're going to give us the exclusive right now. I'm positive you're going to tell us. Tom Hanks does show up, right? He's not dead. Scott Senior's not dead. Come on, man. Come on.
I haven't seen the episode, but I would like to. I would like to be in something with Tom Hanks, even if it's literally. But no, yeah. Have you guys watched? Have you seen the movie? Probably, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
The original.
Yeah.
So I rewatched it before the thing or whatever because I was like, yeah, I remember it as a kid and I loved it as a kid.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
They fucking killed a dog in the movie.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's gonna come back, and she gives him the shake, and he goes off to cry, and I'm like, you just fucking killed a dog?
Yeah.
The 80s, man.
Yeah, man.
Fuck.
But they had some great shit in the 80s, though, man. That's why, right? Like, there's no way they kill Hooch, and then they kill Hooch, man. It's like, what?
Dead.
Oh,
He's
man.
a puppy.
Yeah.
They named him Hooch, too. It's like, it's still kind of fucked up.
It's a little fucked up. It's a little fucked up.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. How many Hooches are there on set? I'm curious.
There's 2 main ones.
Okay.
So there's 5 altogether.
Mm.
There's 2 main ones that do. One does like the outdoor stuff. One does the indoor stuff.
Okay.
And then the other, they're all part of the same family, I think.
That's cool.
And the other ones are like kind of emergency stand-ins if we need. There's one that's really good at just sitting. So you might be able to notice that the one who just is like maybe a little smaller.
Right.
And I think an episode, what's the one where I have that big press conference? Episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
And in the background, he's sitting with the dog, and that one's a little guy.
Okay.
I mean, still a big dog, but
yeah.
but yeah, there's 2 main ones.
So I just want to take that back to the beginning when you were talking about how like some people should just realize this ain't for you. So like if the dog is a better actor than you, maybe you should realize this ain't for you. You're like if the dog knows how to sit better than you or he knows how to act outside better than you, you might have a problem. I'm just the fact that there's stand-in dogs just cracks me up. It's like okay.
Yeah, right.
That's so fucking funny, man. That's so funny. Well, listen, what we like to do at the end of the episode is kind of have a little fun with it and have our guests tell us what they are streaming right now because we're in the midst of the streaming wars. Basically, everybody has a streaming service.
Yeah.
So there's so much content out there. What are you watching?
Oh, I just finished White Lotus.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that was good.
Yeah.
I heard that was good.
It's fucking weird, but it is always compelling. You're never bored.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And the cast is perfect. The cast is so good in that show. Everyone, top to bottom. But it's like, there's a couple scenes where you're like, what? That guy's just holding his dick? We're just going to watch him hold his dick right now? It's fucking 2 minutes into the show. I'm like, okay. And there's a couple graphic scenes that are kind of messed up, but it is really interesting.
HBO's calling you right now for marketing, right?
Yeah, exactly. What am I streaming? Show wise. Oh, good stuff. I mean, I always watch like an episode of Simpsons before I go to bed.
Hell yeah.
That's like
I feel you. That's a given.
classic. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
That's so funny. Right now, we're watching your buddy and Star's original show, Heel, Stephen Amell.
Oh yeah, man.
He's doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
is that good? I don't have. Do I have Stars? Is that part of Disney Plus? I think it is.
It's you can bundle it with like Hulu.
yeah.
I did.
Yeah, so you can watch it
so I
probably.
have that.
It's pretty
Is that
good.
good? I heard that's good.
It's
Yeah,
really good.
It's pretty intense. Not like I think people will finally see the acting chops that Amell has really got because I mean this thing's pretty hardcore, man. Check that one out for sure.
Well, he's absolutely shredded, but he's like a fucking, that he's built for that role. Like,
Oh,
that is, like,
yeah.
wrestler thing.
Yeah.
Well, I watched The Mayor of Easttown. I thought that was great.
I heard that was good too.
And yeah, I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm gonna get to that one. That final season pretty quick.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah. Any films?
I watched a lot of movies. I just watched Our Friend with Casey Affleck and
Yep.
Jason Segel and Dakota Johnson. That was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought, it's heartbreaking, but it's great.
Yeah.
I saw The Green Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I'll tell you why. I went into it with, if you watch the first teaser trailer,
Yeah.
it looks like a horror movie.
Right.
A little bit, yeah.
And so if the first teaser trailer is what I seen, I was like, oh, I'm fucking stoked for this. I love A24. Hereditary is one of my favorite horror movies the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So I had about 3 or 4 beers in me, and I went to go see The Green Knight expecting this horror movie. And it's this really methodically paced, thoughtful allegory.
Right.
Oh shit.
And I was just like, oh, I'm not in the headspace for this.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
So it was gorgeous. It was really beautifully shot, and Dev Patel was excellent.
Yeah.
But there was a couple times when I was like, I fucked up. I should have picked a different day. Shouldn't be here. I'm kind of buzzed. It was a bad combo.
Oh my goodness.
That's
You
great.
just seem like you're a real fan of the art, right? So like I gotta ask, any kind of
I love going to movies.
so any kind of plans to go behind the camera? Do you see yourself? You said you're right and different things like that. No.
Yeah.
So directing, you
Yeah,
ever
no.
see yourself doing that?
I've directed like some shorts and sketches and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then you get into like the big movies and shit like that, and you see these scenes that have like 100 extras and 20
Right.
cast, and the director's doing all this fucking axis angle shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Love that, man. I love that.
I'll do the writing and the acting, and maybe sometime down the line, maybe. But Jesus Christ, That's a hard job.
Yeah. Also important though for all the up and comers listening and watching this, know your place, know what you're good at, know what you're not, and go with it, right? So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh man, we love it. We love it, and it's all about social media now. So where can people follow you at?
On Instagram and Twitter at _Matt_Hammer. I don't have a Facebook. I deleted my Facebook like 6 months ago.
Sure.
And
I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I never really, but I keep going through my Messenger app, and I have so many people trying to contact me through it. And apparently, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to whatever.
Yeah. I feel like
I might get it back.
Yeah, no, I feel like if anybody who still has it, that's why. Because apparently you can get some really good deals. I mean, I don't know.
It's like Craigslist, but way less creepy.
Yeah.
You're way less creepy.
If this whole acting thing doesn't work out, marketing is just screaming your name. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like Craigslist, but far less fucking
Stands
creepy.
there with his dick in his hand.
That's a Facebook watch ad right there. You know,
right? Oh my goodness.
Free pub, Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. This whole back half is publication for Facebook.
I mean,
That's
seriously.
great.
Dude, this has been awesome, man. You are just, like, fantastic. A lot of fun, I mean, and just honored to talk to you. An open invite, buddy. Anytime you want to come back and just shoot the shit or do a top 5 with us, we do a top 5 every week on the show, so.
Just whatever, man. Open invite. We've had a blast.
Yeah, this week it's top 5 fiction books, but they stay relatively entertainment based.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks ago, top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movies and like top 5 Clint Eastwood movies, like all that stuff.
What are your top 5? What are your top 5 Leo movies?
Oh man,
my number 1 was Aviator. So
yeah, my number 1 was Gangs in New York.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we've got the list, bro. They kind of go like. Then we had Tom Hanks for a little bit. See, Tom Hanks could have been Turner and Hooch, but they killed Hooch. So how can you have that on the top 5, right? You can't. He's got so many. How do see, just like that, bro. We need you back on for just like that. You can clarify. Like, we'll start to give you our top 5, and you're like, no. Oh man. Well, like I said, dude, this has been a pleasure, and we thank you so much and best of luck to you. We're hoping for season 2, but I think that's a given, like we said. And just thanks, man. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers.
All right,
thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll be talking to you soon.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, man.
See you, man.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Man, oh man, that was freaking fantastic. Matt Hamilton was a badass.
Oh my god, dude, he is just like his character. I mean, he's so fun, right? Like, that guy is full of energy, full of excitement, and I would imagine he's that guy on set that you just can't not like.
I agree.
Like, I mean, he's just fun, man.
Exactly, and especially for all you up-and-comers out there, don't be afraid to be yourself. Just have fun with it. That's what you're supposed to do, and you see it's gotten him so far in his career.
Yeah, man, and take chances. I think that's a big thing, right? He's like, you know what, I'm just going to ad-lib this. I'm going to try to make this funny and go with it and see what happens. And they loved it.
Exactly.
So it's all about taking chances, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but you got to be you and do what you do.
Exactly. Thank you again, Matt Hamilton, for coming on the show. Oh boy, this one's going to be fun because we're going to deep dive into a man. This week's top 5 is universally loved movies that we hated.
And by we mean when we say, we mean I hated and he hated, but not we hated. We want to clarify that one right now.
Individually. Oh man. I've been hiding my number 1 pick
and
from
I
him.
just figured it out. I just
figured
figured it
it
out.
out.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, let's deep dive into it. Number 5 for me, and we both agree with this one, is Hereditary. Everybody thinks this was like a classic fucking amazing horror movie that was awful. It was so bad. Literally. Everyone in our theater, at least, walked out and was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't scary. The story wasn't compelling. Like, honestly, obviously, they were doing satanic shit, but, like, it just wasn't good. It was boring, in my opinion.
Agreed. It was awful. And this should tell you everything. When my favorite part of the film is when the little girl sticks her head out the window and gets decapitated by the pole. Like, that was my favorite part of the movie. don't judge me. No, that's how bad the movie was. The decapitation of a little girl was the best part. Like, this movie sucked.
It was
I'm
bad.
sorry, and I'm a huge fan of Toni Collette. Don't get me wrong. She's brilliant. This movie sucked.
I know.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
Just saying. And I liked what's his face, the twin, twin actors.
Yeah.
They're both really good, but yeah, and it was just it wasn't there. It wasn't there.
Okay, so now I'm feeling pretty good. Because I thought I was going to get a lot of hate for my number 5 and my number 4, but when we get to his number 1, all of your hate for me will be gone. I assure you. I know. Maybe his number 2. Maybe his number 2 and his number 1. You guys are going to be like, no, fuck J-Lo. We'll just see. We'll see. My number 5 is The Truman Show. I know, bring it. It didn't click for me. I thought it was just a rank knockoff of trying to capitalize on Big Brother TV. It didn't work for me. I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan, and I love that he's made dramatic switches to intense dramatic roles, but this one wasn't it for me. I'm a bigger fan of The Majestic. I thought that is, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless. Now I can't even say the name. I'm so fucked up about it. What's in my coffee?
Right,
You
exactly.
know the one I'm talking about. But Truman Show it didn't work for me. I know, send it.
It's literally like the definition of people's life on social media right now.
It
I
is.
mean, it's so relatable. But
it wasn't then.
It wasn't then.
Maybe I
if
would
you
be a
watch it
bigger
now.
fan of it had it been a now movie, right? Because for me, it did not click back then.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that
We'll
makes
just-
sense. It makes
yeah,
sense.
We'll just leave it at that.
Exactly.
I hated it then. I don't know about now.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, taking it back, even with Jack Black, I still wasn't a fan, and that is High Fidelity. This dude was such a douchebag bitch. Like, he didn't figure out what he wanted. The whole time he was complaining. Like, why? He's not a likable character. I like the actor. Fucking, he's amazing. But this movie was so boring. There were so many times where it could have ended and it just kept moving forward. This is such in my opinion, it's not good. I did not like it at all.
This is going to go down, hands down. Where's my shirt? I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Hands down, the top 5 segment that we absolutely disagree on the most.
It's so bad.
Absolutely. Hi, John Cusack, Jack Black, Lisa Bonet. You can't suck. Yeah, that movie can't suck. It's all about vintage music. It's about vinyl. It's about weed. It's about like this movie can't suck.
It's not. It's about this motherfucker trying to figure out who he is and who he wants, and he's a douchebag that complains the whole time.
No.
Enough said.
No. I disagree. And by the way, the Hulu series was brilliant.
Way better.
Oh my God, with
Way
Zoe
better.
Kravitz, just fucking brilliant. Both of them are brilliant. But okay, all right, fair enough. My number 4 is WALL-E. Yeah, the only Pixar movie that I did not like. I just could not get by. It's a cheap knockoff of Johnny Five. Short Circuit. It was in your face. And now I'm all about having films with messages, right? Because you're trying to get your point across. You're trying to inform people, but in an entertaining way. But I didn't think this is what that was. This was an in-your-face, think our way or you're a jackass and wrong about climate change. And there was no message there. It was just this is how you're going to do it kind of a thing. And just, it didn't work for me. It did not work for me. This is not the way you should try to implement your thought process and into the mainstream. It didn't work.
See,
Sorry.
for that reason, I could see that. I could really see that. I enjoyed the movie as an entertaining base, but because I never looked at it like that, because it's obviously a children's film, so I never deep dove into that. But being an adult while watching it, I could for sure see that. Trying to push the message on everyone else, but. Okay.
And I'm okay.
I agree with that.
Like I said, I'm
understand.
okay with putting messages in films and trying to inform and educate, but not with a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And this film was with a sledgehammer.
Well,
I'm sorry.
and also,
but
they tried to obesity and how the world was just gonna get fat as hell
it
and
was
lazy
just
as hell.
insane.
Yeah.
We get that that's your thought process, and that's a lot of people's thought process. But you can't take the sledgehammer. You got to start a conversation, not beat down somebody's brains with it. Like, I'm just saying.
I understand.
So, Wally.
Yeah, number 4. My number 3, this one was like a cult phenomenon for like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 years. And the books were huge and the movies did relatively decent at the box office, I guess. But I could not get into them. And I mean, it's basically definition of the freaks come out at night. 50 Shades of Grey franchise. Okay, you're a freak. Oh, we don't need that in entertainment form. Just watch porn. Like, we don't need the fucking softcore hitting each other and tying each other up, and it's weird. It's really weird. Especially, I only saw the first one because that's how, like, far I could go. And, I mean, they had a literal contract that they had to sign, or that he made the women sign, and that was like, okay, you can do this to me, but you can't do this. Like, it's really fucking weird. I mean, it kind of put society up in a mirror, I feel like, because society as a whole is really fucking weird. So, yeah, that's why my number 3 is 50 Shades of Grey franchise.
I agree with you. I thought the movie sucked. If you read the books, they weren't anywhere near as explicit or detailed as the books. Everybody was like, oh my God, with the movies, but the books were far more intense.
Yeah, they were
and
rough.
far more just crazy. Like, yeah, I wasn't a fan. I mean, you know, if everybody was excited, I guess, I mean, for Dakota Johnson, it kind of did the Kim Kardashian route. I mean,
Kinda,
you know,
yeah.
she kind of became way more famous than she was prior to being naked all over the screen in these movies.
Yeah.
But she's a phenomenal actress. Watch Honey Boy. I mean, Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
And she's fucking phenomenal. Just like, you know, pay attention to her for her acting, not for her body. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. I just was not a fan of those either. My number 3 is the first movie I ever walked out of. Like, literally, halfway through, I couldn't take it anymore. I got up and said, what the fuck? I'm out of here. I'm talking about, and I know you're not going to believe this because, you know, I'm kind of named after him. Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, where he dresses up as the woman. It sucked. I'm sorry. I know it's a beloved movie. I know a lot of people are huge fans of it. I know it's like, oh my gosh, such a great comedy. I fucking hated it. I hated it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was young. I don't know. You know, but like I just, to be fair, it was okay that I walked out on it because I snuck in on it.
Didn't pay for it.
I didn't pay for it. I just kind of like when one movie was over, I walked into this movie. I know, call me out on it. I'm evil. I'm horrible. So I didn't feel bad getting up and walking out halfway through it. But I was not a fan of Tootsie. I'm sorry. Dustin Hoffman, forgive me, but it sucked.
Very
sucked.
interesting.
Just my opinion.
And I mean, was it not even... He was a straight actor that got a role, right?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't... That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So there was no message behind it.
Just the whole premise was just not very good.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Just not very good. It was no Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
It was no, you know, there are plenty of movies where guys dress up as women that were far more entertaining than this one.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that, but I never will now.
No, you don't want to.
Number 2, for me, is the definition of a boring franchise. I literally watched all 3. I gave them a chance, but I just could not get into them, which is weird because I'm super into Game of Thrones, and I probably will watch the TV show that's coming out on Amazon. And I'm talking about The Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. I think that is just an older generation thing. I don't think any of the younger generation nowadays will even a little bit connect or like Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. I'm just saying. If you like Lord of the Rings, you probably have gray hair and wrinkles. Crickets.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I'm just saying.
I'm reserving because the next one is even worse, guys. It's even worse. I can't believe you don't like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, Martin Freeman. Like, what the fuck? Benedict Cumberbatch. Like Elijah Wood. I mean, come on. Orlando Bloom. Liv Tyler. There are so many reasons to love this film. Not to mention, it's the single most accurate depiction from the books I have ever seen. And they're hard. You can't get exact because those books, the way they're written, there's no way to get exact. But this is the single closest you will ever get to them. And I thought they were brilliant. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Just wait, guys. Just wait.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
If you're mad about High Fidelity and Lord of the Rings, just wait. Just wait. Whew, my number 2. Okay, you can bring some hate for this one too, and I don't give a shit. Avatar. I fucking hated it. I get that it was mind-blowing special effects at the time, but guess what? Now everybody's fucking doing it, so that's not even like a thing now. Just from a story standpoint, I fucking hated it.
The story was very awful.
I mean, okay, wow. So you can, like, control these beings on other planets, like, by being in control of their bodies and stuff. Who gives a shit? And I don't want to see it underwater, which is apparently what the second one is about. I don't give a fuck if the planet had an underwater world also. Who cares, James Cameron? Like, what the fuck, man? We get you're obsessed with underwater, okay? Titanic and like all the kind of and you did a lot of great movies underwater, but we don't need a fucking Avatar underwater. We don't need it. You're just doing it to do it, and you re-released it to take the crown from Avengers. Why? That's just fucking petty, bro. I hate this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I hate this fucking movie. And it had a great cast, great people in it. I guess what I'm really trying to say is I just did not understand the mind-blowing fascination from everybody with it. Like the way they talked about it like it was the greatest thing they had ever seen. I'm just like, he's done so many other movies that are far better than this one. Why is this the one that everybody's talking about? Are
you going to go see the sequels?
No.
No?
No.
I feel that.
I have no desire. I just don't like the story, so I can't bring myself to watch a story that I couldn't give a fuck about the first one. I don't care what happened to them. I don't care about what's going on under the fucking water. So I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how the sequels hold up too. I mean, box office wise.
Well, he'll keep them in the theaters for 18 years and then re-release them 47 times so that they do well.
Yeah,
because that's his thing.
Even if it comes out of his pocket, he's fine with it. It's so fucking
so
funny.
Right.
All right, guys, the time has finally come, and the realization has finally come.
Not me.
When we were
all him, not me.
When we were, getting ready for the back half of the show, my number 1 goes to the Indiana Jones franchise.
No,
completely overrated.
No.
I've only seen Raiders and the one with Shia LaBeouf and Sean Connery, but completely overrated. It's not interesting. Boring as hell. I'm just saying, there could be so much better stories for Harrison Ford to do, like fly around with a Chewbacca. I'm just saying. I mean, this one it's not good. It's not good.
Guys, this man has been trying to get a sandwich with Steven Spielberg for as long as I have known him. That is never happening now.
No.
Ever.
No.
He's a huge Star Wars fan, and he just bitch slapped George Lucas in the back of the head. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg created the masterpiece that is the Indiana Jones. And I don't understand. This has some of the greatest action sequences in the history of film. Hands down. The snake pit, the rock chase, just so many I can't even name. And I'm baffled. I am floored that this would be on his list, guys. I cannot even fathom how this landed on the list. I feel like somehow he's been doing all this film research and all this, trying to, I feel like I have failed him in every way possible. If this is on the list of movies that he hates, I just I don't know. I don't know. Direct all of it at him. All of it at him.
I'm ready. I'm ready. It's fine.
Wow, I don't. We'll be talking about this one for weeks. Like somebody should just follow us around with a camera after the show.
What the fuck?
We'll be talking about. If you could have seen my reaction right before we started filming when I figured out what his IJ series was, I was just like, no fucking way. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm trying to move on. My number one, and I know I'm going to get a shit ton of hate for this one too, but not nearly as much as Indiana Jones hate. I'm fairly confident I'm okay here. Is another movie that I walked out on. Unfortunately, this one I paid for. I'm talking about the Twilight series.
That makes
Guys,
sense.
I had never heard of the books. I had no idea. It was me and my best friend and ex-brother-in-law, and we were like, hey, it's vampires. This sounds pretty badass, battling werewolves and shit. Let's go check it out. What the fuck? We were in there, and the second we saw a fucking vampire sparkle, we both got up and said, fuck this. What the fuck is this? Vampires don't sparkle? What the fuck is that? Is he Dazzler? Is he like the fucking... What? What the fuck? No. 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 No.
I don't blame you on this one.
I don't get it.
don't.
I do not get it. Like, why was this a huge franchise? Why is this? Oh my God, I can't miss it. What? I'm telling you, watch Interview with a Vampire. Watch Lost Boys. Any other fucking vampire movie, and you'll see what real vampires are. They don't fucking sparkle.
Yeah.
They don't sparkle.
They don't do it.
No. Did Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise sparkle? Fuck no, they did not. Did Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patrick fucking sparkle? Fuck no, they did not. They don't sparkle. Vampires do not sparkle.
The female population, man. That's what kept that one going. I'm just saying. That's what it was.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Let us know your number one movie that everyone else loved and you just did not like at all. We want to know. Be
Yeah,
sure
we
to
definitely want to know.
comment in the YouTube comment section. Add us on social
comment.
media.
Please comment on Indiana Jones. Please
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
You're the reason Harrison's been crashing planes lately, man.
But it
He's
is.
like, people hate Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like, fuck. But anyway, heading over to the box office recap. Number one this week was Candyman. I want to see that one.
Yeah, me
I want
too.
to see it. Came in at number one with 22 million. Number two was Free Guy with 13.2 million. Number three was Paw Patrol and the movie with 6.6 million. Number four was Jungle Cruise with 5 million. And number five was Don't Breathe 2 with 2.8 million. And new movies coming out you can go see right now is Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. Be sure to do it. Number two, The Big Scary S Word.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
The Getaway, Mogul Mowgli, and Saving Paradise.
Okay.
Movies you can still go see: Candyman, The Protege, Free Guy, Suicide Squad, Jungle Cruise. Be sure to get out there and see Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings because that shit was badass. Honestly, one of my favorite origin Marvel stories, right behind Iron Man, to be honest with you.
You want to say hi?
Yeah, they're the puppo. They're the puppo.
No, he's talking. I know. What was that?
This
thinking
is
with
what
Indiana
happens
Jones?
with...
What was he thinking? I'm right there. I'm right there.
Whatever.
I know.
Whatever,
We'll
it's
watch Raiders
fine.
of the Lost Ark tonight. It'll be fine.
He'll be
It'll be
asleep in 2 seconds. But yeah, guys, really good Marvel movie, and I'm excited for the next phase and where they're going with these new characters.
Speaking of,
Heading over to the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment, the top trending movie is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
no doubt, after the release of the trailer, everybody's fucking talking about it.
Exactly. And the top trending TV show is Nine Perfect Strangers,
Mm-hmm.
and the top trending star is Jodie Comer that we just talked about.
Exactly.
So makes complete sense, guys. So exactly, great things happening, great things are coming. But anyway, thank you so much for getting crazy with us on episode 173 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Be sure to follow our guest Matt Hamilton on all social media platforms _Matt_Hammer on Twitter and Instagram. That shit's
That's
so
right.
funny. And be sure to follow the company and podcast on social media at Crazy Ant Media and at ITCAFpodcast.
Yes.
And y'all know you can follow us both personally on social media. Myself, JLo Fantastic, and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's
and
right.
Peanut the Puppy.
Peanut the Puppy. Be sure to give him a follow as well. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more.
Yes.
If you're watching the video on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications that we have coming out of Crazy Ant Media. And be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking those the latest and greatest Crazy 8 Media gear. And remember to love yourself by loving our fucking merchandise and buying that new one. I will say this is the most me I've ever put into a merchandise design. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And don't be surprised if you'll see me wearing that merchandise soon because I want to get one. But I mean, it was a great show. Top 5, absolutely hilarious, obviously, because I was just trying to bring some, I was looking for that reaction. I really was.
You're going to get that reaction, but not just from me. You're going to get that from a lot of people.
Everywhere.
That is going to blow you up.
But, I mean...
Thanks, by the way, for fucking any chance we had for Harrison Ford coming on the show.
Yeah, that's not happening. It was such a great show.
McAllister's called. They're canceling.
They're canceling the order. It's not happening. Fuck that fucking spud potato.
Anybody who's been following us from the beginning knows what we're talking about there. So
hell yeah. But I mean, so much good superhero news to talk about and so much good projects coming out. I'm really interested in that Netflix one, though, where it's the 2 crazy-ass sisters that fucking trade lives and, do all this shady shit.
Yeah.
That's just so weird and so intriguing at the same time. So I can't wait to check that one out.
Well, my favorite part of the show for sure, well, obviously the interview, because any guy that can drop fuck bombs with me as often as he did was fucking awesome. And great show, and just love that. But the other part that I am just most excited about that we were talking about is the huge success of The Little Experiment.
The Little Experiment.
Fuck you, Bob Chapek. Fuck you. There you go. The Master Kung Fu put a whooping on your ass, okay? I'm thrilled that movie came out and is performing the way it's performing and is going to do as successfully as it's going to do. One, because I'm thrilled for the entire cast and crew and everybody involved in it. I'm thrilled for the Asian culture and what it means for them and what it's going to do for them. I'm thrilled for what it's going to do for Scarlett Johansson because she is going to win her lawsuit because this one being exclusively theatrically released and seeing the success that it's seeing and will continue in the next week, I'm sure, will all but assure she wins the lawsuit. So I just love that story all the way around, every bit of it.
I think it's going to be number 1 again next week, too.
I think so, too.
Just because, I mean, obviously it's going to go over so well and super popular, and theaters are going to be the only place you can see it, but also, there's not really anything coming out next week, so it's going to do really well. But I will be interested to see the drop-off in week 1 to week 2. But like I said, I think it's going to be really close to 100 million. I think it's going to be around 80 or 90, just like Black Widow. And like I said...
Total?
I'm talking about just forecast.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say, you got to throw in that
total.
40 or 50 million for domestic. I mean, for international, and it'll be great.
Yeah, completely agreed. I'm super pumped because completely deserved it.
It's
a great fucking movie,
brilliant movie.
And I mean, finally introduce Awkwafina to the MCU. It's great.
She steals the movie, guys.
She does.
She is fucking fantastic in the movie. She's worth the ticket price alone.
Yeah.
To go see it. The martial arts are just freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you were an Iron Fist fan and you were disappointed in the level of martial arts on Iron Fist, don't worry. They fix it all in this movie.
Yeah.
This is like I can't. It's
and I
epic.
love how they're pushing boundaries a little bit too, because they swore a lot in Shang-Chi.
They did.
They said goddamn a few times. They said shit a few times. They're pushing the boundaries and they're trying to get it, to that good spot because everybody knows. I mean, of course it's technically comic book related, but I mean, it's geared for adults. It really is. So.
And Deadpool's coming.
So
you have to start slowly dropping the F-bombs because Deadpool's coming.
Exactly. Now, the next thing is, how are you going to introduce the one and only to the MCU? I know. That's the question, because it has to happen.
It has to happen.
And, of course, you guys know, we're talking about the one, the only, the lovely Oprah!